Welcome to day 7 of our 5-day workshop. Yes, we were going to do a 5-day workshop, but we've got some bonus sessions for you. If you missed the session on Saturday where we talked about how to plan your next or your first sourcing trip to go find inventory, the replays are still available for you to watch that. fulltimefba.com/replay. And you can watch the replays. The replays will only be up for a short amount of time. In fact, we're recording this on Monday. Tuesday night at midnight, the replay link will be coming down. So you want to make sure you take advantage of watching those replays. Today being Monday, happy Martin Luther King Day. I'm so excited about just being able to hang out with you today. This is a great time where we can just I know there's some of you who are off work today, and there's others who are taking the time to grow their Amazon business. We're going to be doing that together for sure, and get into that today. So again, if you have any questions, be sure you put them in the questions tab of the chat or in the chat, and we'll be answering your questions later. But listen, a lot of people are like, Stephen, what's it like? What's it like to make a full-time income on Amazon? What is your normal day like? And the answer I wish was extremely simple, but it's different because when I was making a full-time income at first, I was working about 60 hours a week and I was doing so many different things and I was not able to sustain that. And now, so I was making a full-time income working 60 hours a week. Now I'm able to make a full-time income working a lot less when it comes to the time involved. Maybe 15 hours one week, 20 hours another week, 10 hours another week. There's a lot of ways that we can help you. And that's why we call our platform Full-Time FBA, how to turn part-time hours into a full-time income. Full-time income on Amazon, sometimes when you're first getting started, it might take a full-time hour load, a workload. But we can help you start to process your Amazon business in such a way where you can outsource a lot of things so that you're not having to do the work. And that is just awesome when you are able to let other people do some of the work in your Amazon business so that you can be freed up to do the most important work. And what is the most important work in running an Amazon business? Finding inventory. So we're going to walk through a day in the life. I'm going to share my screen, and Rebecca can let me know if it looks funny or if it's not coming across on the screen. But I'm going to share my screen, and okay. Um, so do you see the PowerPoint, Rebecca? I want to double check before we keep going.
Looks good.
Excellent. So when it comes to the day in the life of an Amazon seller, it's going to be different for everyone, but this is something that we all need to think about and process when it comes to how we plan our days. So a day in the life of an Amazon seller, there's a lot of things that we need to do. We need to find inventory, buy that inventory, prep that inventory, ship the inventory. Maybe there's some merchant fulfilled orders. Maybe we got to make sure we have the right supplies. We have shipments we need to work on. We need to price our stuff, reprice our stuff. A lot of stuff on Amazon back end, dealing with feedback, dealing with customer questions, so many things. And that's just the Amazon business. There's also the learning process. Learn new strategies. Go to Facebook and check Facebook groups, read blog posts, podcast episodes, delivering the boxes to the UPS store, letting your retail arbitrage. You all can read. There's so many things that we need to do in our Amazon business with inventory, with learning strategies, and making sure we up level our mindset. And then there's the things that we need to do in everyday life. You know, laundry needs to get done, dishes need to get taken care of. We need to make sure we exercise. We need to do grocery shopping. There's so many things. So, I mean, this might look to you extremely overwhelming. And spoiler alert, it is. It does not need to be this way where you are doing every single one of the things that you see. And so let's work through what we can do to make this list a whole lot more manageable when it comes to a day in the life of an Amazon seller. So I want to show you how you can trade some tasks to gain more freedom. When it comes to inventory, we can hire help. Maybe we find replens ourselves, and then we can hire a college student to go to all the Walgreens in the area and pick up all the replens. Or, there's different ways we can hire help. We can sign up for a prep center to process our inventory for us. If it's online arbitrage, we can have our inventory shipped to at most prep centers from your online arbitrage sourcing store, and they can get it ready for you and shipped it to Amazon. There's different prep centers that take care of merchant fulfilled orders that they will fulfill for you. There's different tools and programs to help you create shipments and price your inventory, or automatic repricers. Um, you can maybe outsource to a VA trying to get a new wholesale account. There's a lot of different ways that you can outsource, and outsourcing is the most important part to scaling your Amazon business. Even outsourcing things in your home life, hiring a cleaning service. Maybe you are not much of a cook and you want to eat healthy. Well, using services like HelloFresh and other meal prep services might help you. Maybe there's certain errands that you need to run, and it's just going to take so much time to do it yourself and time away. Well, you can hire someone through TaskRabbit, or maybe a college student that there's a lot of different things that you can do. Even just something as simple as curbside pickup at a grocery store. Any way we can think of a way to outsource a certain aspect of our life. Basically, if anybody can do it, you should not be doing it. If you can pay someone a fair wage to do it, to do it for you, you should not be do that. So we need to be changing our thinking. We talked a lot about mindset in the full-time FBA coaching program. Let's walk about mindset. The old way of thinking is this: the more you work, the more money you can make. That's the old way of thinking. That's the way, like, my parents thought when they were in the workforce. The more you work, the more you can make. Well, there's a new way of thinking that's a whole lot better. The more work you can outsource, the more money you can make. That's the reality of the world that we live in today in 2025. The more work that you can outsource, the more money you can make, because you're able to outsource the things that anyone can do, and you can focus on taking care of the most important parts, the actual money making parts. We talked earlier, you make your money on the buy. Earlier in the workshop, you make your money on the buy. Your buying skills, your sourcing skills, that's where you're going to make the most money, improving those. And so you can outsource other things in your Amazon business. Guess what? You're going to be able to do more and make more money. The old way of thinking, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. I hear my parents' voice with that. No, if you want something done right, this is what's actually to accomplish more in any type of business. You need to either eliminate a task or find others to do it for you. To accomplish more, you need to either eliminate a task because it's not important, or find others to do that task for you. That's how you're actually going to scale and grow and turn part-time hours into a full-time income selling on Amazon, doing it this way. If you want something done right, we think we're going to do it better. Rebecca and I were actually talking about this either yesterday or the day before. It's not, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. It's, yes, we need someone else to do the things that anyone can do, because a lot of times, not only are we spending way too much time doing the easy stuff that anyone can do and missing out on money making opportunities, but someone else might actually do a better job than us. I mean, yes, we might need to train them and show them what to do, but because we're trying to do everything, it does not mean we're going to be able to do everything with excellence. But if we hire someone to do a specific job, they can learn to do that job with excellence and do a better job than us. And so there's an old way of thinking that's not going to help you be successful. And there's a newer way of thinking that's going to help walk you through. Jessica Jackley said successful entrepreneurs, um, they know that you live and die by your ability to prioritize. You must focus on the most important mission critical task each day and night, and then share, delegate, delay, or skip the rest. And it's so true in your Amazon business. Figure out what tasks that you have to do that you can share to someone else, delegate to someone else, delay to do later, or just completely skip. So let's work through how to work less and make more. Work less hours and make more money. So you got this whole day in the life of an Amazon seller. All of these things that you need to do in your work in your business. So many things can be outsourced. So many things can be delayed or completely eliminated. And so there's a lot of things that you can cross off your list. Cross off your to-do list because they are not the highest level aspects of what you need to do to have a healthy business and a healthy life. Like these are the things that I've outsourced. I still find inventory to sell. I mean, we've also outsourced to a VA finding inventory, but the final decision comes from either Rebecca or I. We love learning new strategies. We like checking out Facebook. We have our own Facebook group, so of course we're going to check out Facebook groups. We like learning and testing new strategies. I like going to conferences and attending meetups and stuff. I don't want to outsource taking my kid to school. And exercise is something I can't outsource. I can't pay someone to go lose weight for me and exercise. So the things that are crossed off that you see are things that I've been able to outsource and find someone else to do or just eliminate completely. And so that this type of process is something that you can go through too and find out what can you outsource. Now, when it comes to excuse me, when it comes to actually doing this, it might seem overwhelming. It's not something that you just do it once and you're done with it and it's over with. No, it's something that you slowly, little bit by little bit. And a lot of times the whole issue of control, not being able to let go, it's a roadblock that stops a lot of people and something that we need to overcome. We are all, whether we like it or not, we want to be in control of everything at first, until you start to realize once you let go of certain aspects and you see the kind of life and the life of freedom and the life of the profits that you're making, being able to let go and let someone else do something is a huge thing that you can accomplish in your life. Um, Another roadblock is spending money on something that is not inventory to sell. That is something where it's like, I have all this money set aside for inventory. I don't have any money to make. I don't have any money to pay an employee or a helper or someone to do these things for me. Plus, I have to stop sourcing inventory to even train them. So it is a momentarily pause in your inventory sourcing to train somebody to source for you or prep for you or whatever for you. And once you get that set up, guess what? You're going to have so much more time to source inventory and improve your skills along the way. So spending money on something that's not inventory is a roadblock. It's something that's going to try to stop you, but it's not something that is a real roadblock that you can't overcome. You can overcome that. Another roadblock, I don't have time. We talked about this in one of our recent calls. When it comes to not having enough time, we make time for things that are important to us. So if making a full-time income on Amazon is important enough to you, you're going to find the time. You're going to be able to reschedule some things or cancel things that are on your schedule. And not even things that aren't on your schedule, but you're like, like me, I'm a big baseball fan, but maybe I don't watch as much baseball and focus on my Amazon business. You actually do have the time, you're just not choosing to use it in a way that will grow your Amazon business. And so when you start looking through all the things that you need to get done, figure out what you need to do, to eliminate as many of those things off of your list. And another roadblock, I don't know how. I don't know how to outsource. That's one thing that we can help you with our full-time FBA coaching program. Again, our coaching program, it's open right now. We got some really cool bonuses for you, including a 30-minute one-on-one call with just you and me. And if you pay in full, there's some Amazon FBA supplies that we'll send you if you do the pay in full option. But if you don't know how, that's not an excuse, because there are those out there who know how. We've made a full-time income selling on Amazon, and we've coached others how to do that. And so we would love to help you. So when you look at all the things that you need to do in your life, it can seem extremely overwhelming, but it's not something you need to actually do, do it all at once. And so here's how you can handle this. We're going to talk about creating a freedom worksheet. This is not anything you're going to need to go somewhere and download. It's very easy. Number one, make a list of everything you need to do in your business, everything that you have to do in your business. Like I just showed you an example. And if you want to go back and watch the replay to kind of see that on screen, make a list of everything that you do in your business. All right. On a separate page, create 3 columns. So it's basically, I'm actually going to show you just how simple it is. So you got a list of everything in your business. And on that, it's almost like a tic-tac-toe. Separate pay, create 3 columns. All right, so you have those, everything that you listed. In fact, I would take about a full day to write down everything in your Amazon business. Now, not 24 hours. I just mean for 10 minutes, you can probably come up with 90% of the things that you do in your Amazon business. But as you continue throughout the day, you might start remembering other things. So create a page with 3 columns. The first column, and put from that whole list of all the items that you do, the things you hate doing. So the things that you hate doing, put all of those items in one column. And then there's the things you need help doing. If you need help doing something, put those in another column. You're like, I want to learn how to advertise, but I need help. Okay, we'll put that kind of stuff in another column. In the third column, the things you shouldn't be doing. Because if anybody could do it, you should not be doing it. So these 3 columns, so you had your list of all the things that you do in your business. You can even also write everything that you do have to do in a day. And then put those items in these 3 columns, the things you hate doing, the things you shouldn't be doing, the things you need help doing. And sort as many of those items in those 3 columns as possible. And you will start to see the things that you need to outsource. You should outsource the things you should not be doing. All right. Maybe you can outsource the things that you need help doing. It's like, I don't know how to advertise, but maybe I can hire a business that can help me advertise. And then the things you hate doing, that's the funnest stuff to outsource, because it's like, I don't like doing that. I think I'm skillful at packing boxes to send to Amazon, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I don't like doing it. I love the fact that our prep center does that for the majority of our online arbitrage or wholesale sourcing that we do. And so this is something that you can work through to help you find more freedom in your life. But here's a huge question I want you to think about. How much are you worth? How much do you want to make an hour? Think about in your mind, how much do you want to make an hour? I want to make $100 an hour. I would love to have a job where I made $100 an hour. Look at your list and ask, what on this list can I pay someone a fair wage to do? A fair wage to do. What on that list can you find someone that you can pay to do? And then look at your list and be like, what on this list can I use a paid tool in order to help speed up my results and free up my time? And that can help you get an idea. If you're able to pay someone $10 an hour, that frees you up to make $30 an hour. Well, then it's a no-brainer. Pay that someone $10 an hour so that you can use that same amount of time to make 30 bucks an hour. And so hire help and use paid tools to help free up your time. There's a tool and it costs 70 bucks a month. Well, is that tool going to help me make well over $70 a month? Then it's worth it to go. Maybe the tool is 20 bucks a month. Well, is that tool going to help me make well over $20 a month if I use it? Then it is a no-brainer to use that tool. So when it comes to working less hours and making more money, then it is a no-brainer that outsourcing is the thing that's going to help you. And when it comes to a day in the life of an Amazon seller, like I said before, when I first started selling on Amazon, I was spending about 60 hours a week finding inventory. And you know what? If you are already wanting to sell via FBA, you're already outsourcing. You're having Amazon take care of storing your inventory and shipping to your customers and taking returns, and even uh, taking care of finding traffic for you to buy your inventory items. And so there, you're already outsourcing that way. So that's awesome. But there's so many other ways that you can outsource in your Amazon business. And now these days, I've been able to cut back the number of hours that I go sourcing. And there's times where I turn the hours up again. Like right now, it's I probably spend about 10 to 15 hours a week sourcing for inventory, but when it's Q4, I like to turn that up and do even more. Rebecca's going to come on in just a moment and share a little bit about what her schedule is like and her workload is like when it comes to when she first got started selling on Amazon with me, and then what it is like right now. So she's going to come back on camera and share a few things with you about her own process of what a day in the life of her Amazon business is like. So take it away, Rebecca.
Okay. So I'm always, when I talk about this, I always get my years mixed up. So I might have to, as the years go by, I forget like what year did, how long ago was that? It seems like it was a year ago, but it was 8 years ago or whatever. So I like to think of the way my day looks like now compared to when I first started selling on Amazon, not only as the changes that have happened in how we've outsourced, but also like just a progression of different sourcing methods and also um, just finding my personal preference and also just how we've grown our business to change from one-offs only to replens, more heavily focusing on replens with some one-offs sprinkled in there. So kind of keep that in mind as I'm going through this. So we've shared before that Stephen and I got married we got married in 2013, and he'd already been selling on Amazon for a year or two. And it was all completely new to me when we got married. I had been working as a writer and working on writing my own books to publish, and then also doing some freelance writing and editing. And so I'd been doing that for a few years and, you know, loved it, but it also wasn't just like super lucrative as far as income goes. And so I was interested in learning more about this whole selling on Amazon thing when we got married. And I was like, maybe I could help you. And that way, if I'm helping, we could make some more money and I could learn more about it. And so quickly found out that like, yeah, that would be a really great thing for our business would be for us to partner together working on the FBA business. And then I could also, while I was doing that, continue running my own business at the same time. And that's what kind of we've done the entire time that I've been part of the business. So again, it's been, about 12 years now that we've done that. And when I first got started, Stephen was at that point focusing really heavily on thrift stores and garage sales with some RA mixed in, like RA clearance type stuff mixed in. And he had a very rigid schedule of doing that and was very methodical about it. And so I just kind of joined in that and made my own methodical, rigid schedule of like this day I'm going to go to this part of town to do thrift stores. These days we dedicate, these days of the week we dedicate to garage sales. And we did that for I don't know how long, over a year, I would say. And I quickly learned that I do not enjoy garage sales and thrift stores as much as Steven does. I enjoy thrift stores more than garage sales. And so we kind of changed it up where he would focus more on garage sales and I focused more on thrift stores. Sometimes we would go thrifting together and make a big day of it. And um, I was able to focus more on books and the types of categories that I enjoyed more. And it was just kind of a process of finding out, okay, these are the categories I enjoy, these are the locations I enjoy. And it made, doing the job that just that much more enjoyable. It was always enjoyable to go on a treasure hunt and find things to resell, but to find things that are in categories and locations that I like, that was even better. But as kind of things went on and my other business was growing and just kind of getting settled into daily routine, I realized I don't enjoy going out and sourcing outside of the house as much as I do being home and being able to, keep a more flexible schedule, not that rigid, I go this place on this day, do this thing type schedule, but to have more flexibility as far as um, when I source and where. And it was around that same time that online arbitrage became a really big sensation. Chris Green had his book come out in, I think, 2015. And so people started learning more about online arbitrage as like a very methodical way to do sourcing. And so I started learning about that and got really excited and interested in that. So it's hard to believe it's been 10 years now. And so I kind of got to where around that time that I did not do sourcing outside of the house. I was not going to do thrifting garage sales. I wasn't doing RA as much then because I did get into that as well, where I would have days that were dedicated because of where we live. There's just a lot of different areas of town that you can like this Mondays for this part of town, Tuesdays for this part of town.
Wednesdays for this part of town.
Exactly. Peter just joined me in here and he's going to be very quiet while I continue doing my presentation, right?
Yeah, Thursdays for this part of town.
Okay, thank you.
Days for this part of town. Saturdays for this part of town. Sundays for this part of town. Monday, it happens again.
Okay, that's right. And Monday it starts all over again. Stephen, why don't you kind of take over for a second and let me talk to Peter?
Sure. So yeah, so she would, plan out these sourcing, we would do these types of sourcing trips, and so yeah, I would be doing a lot of retail arbitrage, going out. I mean, I'm more of an extrovert, so I'm doing a lot more stuff out with retail arbitrage and things like that, and she's more of an introvert, so she's staying home and doing some of the online arbitrage that she loves to do, and we found our groove doing that.
Yeah, and so then as I got settled into doing more OA, I first started out doing manual searches alone, and then also very quickly got really hooked on using deal lists. So I've been using deal lists for about 10 years now too. Um, and have used different programs and different lists for that this whole time. And so that was quickly a way that I found that I could outsource and it could really speed up the process of finding inventory. And so as I added on each of those components of like not going out, staying home and doing OA and then adding in deal lists, I was slowly getting to where I had more and more time to focus on other aspects of the business than finding inventory. And around that time as well, I would say probably around 2015, 2016, we hired somebody to begin coming into our house, working with us in the office to do our prepping and packing and shipping. And she worked with us, I would say, for a year to 18 months. It was really awesome. She was actually building her own FBA business at the time. And so it just worked out really well that as she was working with us and building her business, we kind of got to a point where we were like, okay, I think we're ready to just like move all the inventory out of our house completely and just use a prep center. And she was like, well, great, because I'm ready to just launch out and do my own business. So that lined up really well. But that was a period of time where it was giving us even more time back to spend more time on sourcing or on other projects because she was helping us so much. Then we moved everything out and I wasn't even having to worry about incoming OA shipments at the house because it was all started to go to the prep center. And that was amazing to get back that space in our house. Even though we have dedicated office space and had shelving and tables and everything set up, it's still just like, it was always, in the front entryway, and just, it was hard. It was hard to deal with. And so that was nice getting that moved out. And then we've outsourced along the way. We hired the account manager. And so that took that off of my plate because I was doing a lot of that myself, checking on inventory and shipments and reconciling things and opening up tickets and all of that. So we outsourced that along the way. And I don't remember what year it was, somewhere a few years after that was when Stephen first started learning from his mentors at the Wholesale Formula about the correct way to do wholesale sourcing. And then I went through the Wholesale Formula course as well, went through all of the videos and the training and learned as much as I could so that I could help him with that, because we saw that doing wholesale sourcing in addition to the RA and OA that we were doing would just give us that much more of an opportunity to find replens. And once I did that, I was very quickly on board with, we need a VA who is dedicated to doing, we had VAs help us with various things before, but once I started doing the Wholesale Formula training, I was like, we need a VA to help us with this too, because this is not something I want to do myself, all by myself, because I don't have the time for that. I just, to go through and methodically do the things that are necessary for that type of sourcing to work, it just requires a lot of time, and it's so much better for me to hire somebody. So we hired our first full-time VA in oh goodness, what year was that? I don't know. I want to say 2020, 2021. What year is it now? 2025. Anyway, so she's been working with us for a few years now. And then later on, we just continued hiring more VAs for sourcing over the past few years. And I literally could not do my job right now if I didn't have like a VA team to help me, because they just take care of so many of our tasks. And with the FB, like with our FBA account, and also with sourcing and with helping us to keep on top of our emails with different suppliers and whatnot. And so that's kind of the progression that my sourcing and my hours have gone through. I moved from doing all of the work ourselves and being very much hands-on with each shipment and each item, to making decisions and organizing things and managing the team more than I am actually doing the tasks myself. And so I feel like that's allowed us to scale, and it's also freed up time so that I do have time to work on other projects. I do still run another business where I do editing and proofreading. I do have my own projects that I still, my own creative projects. Of course, we have full-time FBA that we spend a lot of time on, where we are training and coaching others, our podcast, all of that. And so the ability to have a business where you can scale and consistently be making solid income opens up that door to have all those other pursuits as well. And the thing about it is, I'm not saying with all of this that it's bad to spend full-time hours running an FBA business. If we spent full-time hours doing FBA with all of the outsourcing we've done, our FBA business would be that much bigger. But we've intentionally kept it small because we wanted to do these other things as well. And so in that way, outsourcing and planning out your day and looking at, how do I want to spend my time? What projects do I have? What dreams do I have? Where do I want the flexibility to be able to go on a trip when I need to go help my parents for the day if I need to? Those kinds of things, we've been able to plan all of that out because we've been very intentional about the size of our FBA business, how we've outsourced it, and all of those fine details, so that we're, pretty much living the dream that we wanted of having a business that funds our lifestyle and gives us the ability to pursue those other things besides just the business. And part of that is helping other people, because we truly love talking about FBA. I don't know if you can tell in the podcast and in these workshops, but we really like talking about FBA. We really like talking about how we've gotten to where we are and what we do, and it's fun, and we are just really glad that we're able to help other people too. So that's my take on the whole day in the life. And so there you have
Yeah.
it.
And so if you're listening to this and you're like, that sounds so overwhelming, that process. I mean, Rebecca walked you through a 10-year plus process, of where we were to where we are now. But the good news is that we've not only figured it out for ourselves, but also been able to help others do the same thing and not have to take a 10-year process to go through that. And so we're here to help you. This is what the coaching program is for, to help you get your feet wet, get you going selling on Amazon, get that snowball going, help you grow your Amazon business, know what to grow, what next step to take, and to grow over time, help you with suggestions for outsourcing, all of those things so that you don't have to figure it out yourself. You don't have to go at it alone, and you can go at it at a pace that is comfortable for your lifestyle. And so,
I'll just add, I'll add to that very quickly that there was a time when I was like, I knew other people had teams of VAs, not just a VA, but like a team. And I thought, no way, I don't want to manage a team. I don't want to have to train people. I don't want to have to navigate all of that. And I never would have thought that, I would have a whole team of people that I work with like I do today. But it was a slow process. It was a process of me learning different skills and me learning what skills I don't have, because those are the things that I need to be hiring other people for. And so it's not something that you have to think like, okay, by 6 months from now, I'm going to have all of this stuff laid out. No, it was years of work and getting there. It's very doable to set up just the basic structure of it and then let it expand from there. And the other thing that we have found is, just like with any business, if you grow really fast, you have so much more potential to just crater. And
yep.
so just take your time. Just take your time. Don't put the pressure on yourself to, have a multi-million-dollar account in like a year or something like that. But yeah, we can help you to get there. We can help you to prioritize and to know which steps to take next, which steps to take first, what to put off until later, because that can wait. And no, you need to be doing this right now. This will be a huge push forward, a huge catalyst for your business if you do this.
Yeah,
So
so we want to invite you to our coaching program. I know there's some people here who are on the live call that have already joined, and we're so excited to get the ball rolling with helping you. And again, the bonuses are going to be expiring midnight Central Tuesday night. So we want to make sure that you enroll so you can lock in those bonuses and join our coaching program and start your path toward making a full-time income. And then we can even help you roll back and help you do some more where you're moving the full-time hours to part-time hours, or if you're like, I'm going to want to make a full-time income starting off with part-time hours. There's different strategies and different paths along the way. We can give that customized experience for you in our coaching program. So fulltimefba.com/coaching. All right, so go ahead. Did you have something you want to say?
no, I was just going to say, and along with the coaching, the link is on the coaching page, but also if you haven't had your connect call yet with Steven, you're wondering if coaching is right for you, you're wondering if FBA is right for you, be sure and sign up for that call. See if you're eligible for the call, fulltimefba.com/connect. And you can chat with him and kind of see, he can get a feel then for where you are, where your business is, and where to go from here.
Yeah, and you will actually chat with me. It will be the two of us on there's many times I get on these kind of calls like, I didn't know how to be talking to you. I'm like, well, yeah, I want to help you. I'm going to be your coach, so I want to help answer whatever questions that you have about our coaching program. So, yeah.
All right, so some questions are coming in.
And if you haven't asked your question yet, be sure to put it in the chat or the questions tab.
Yeah. How do you track your finances and account activities?
So there's different levels that you can choose to do. Like we first started using Inventory Lab to kind of understand the profitability and our profit and loss and our inventory valuation for like the end of the year, a lot of different aspects. So Inventory Lab that tool has helped us out. And starting in February, Inventory Lab is going to be combining a lot of their different tools under one cost. So if you're already an Inventory Lab subscriber, there'll be some new tools that will be added to you that are pretty cool. So Inventory Lab is good, but we also have we've grown our business in such a way where we need a CPA, a professional, to take care of understanding all of that. So we're able to give them our Inventory Lab reports, but they also have access to our business checking account and help us through that. So at whatever level you're at, there's an answer for you to understand your accounting numbers and how to best handle your business.
One of the questions we usually get after we talk about having an accountant and letting them have access to Inventory Lab is, where do you find an accountant that does Amazon and knows? You Google. That's what we did. We had a long-time accountant that we used for a really long time, and she was great, but it just kind of got to where our FBA business was a bit more than she was used to doing. And so we just Googled our state, and you be sure that you do that for your state, because each state's going to have different laws and things that apply with taxes and whatnot. So Google your state, accountant, and Amazon, and then kind of, we just did the research from there. The different names that popped up, we looked through each of them to see who we thought would be the best fit, talked to different people, got it all lined up, and yeah, that's how we take care of it. That's outsourcing something that
Oh yeah.
we just do. We cannot do that. And we didn't, it's like, that's so much easier to find a company that you can outsource that to, rather than hiring your own accountant to
Yep.
be an employee.
Yep.
All right. Couple of questions about hiring VAs. Where do you find VAs? Are they people you know online? And then what is the typical hourly rate that a VA charges?
So yeah, when it comes to a VA, a virtual assistant, I mean, there's VAs that are here in the States. There are more affordable VAs that are out of the US. The VAs that we have and that we've found all live and work in the Philippines, and so the the pay for them is a whole lot more affordable, but is still a living wage in the Philippines. So it's like, while it might be an insult to pay someone in the States the lower amount that we pay in the Philippines, it is still a living and a fair wage for them in the Philippines. And so there's many different places that you can look. There's, I think, onlinejobs.ph for specifically the Philippines. But there's many different places that you can go. There is freeup.com, freeup.com. That used to be called Free Up with an extra E, because it was like an e-commerce out, but they've fixed that. Anyway, freeup.com also can help you find a trained VA. And so fultonefba.com/freeup if you want to check that out. There's a lot of different places to go to find them, but they're out there, and there's options.
Yeah, if you're not ready to hire somebody for like on an ongoing basis, but you just have a project that you're needing help with, like say you're needing help with some photos for a listing or something like that, you can even go to Fiverr. We've done that before. We've had people help us on Fiverr. I'm trying to think of the name. Why is it like totally slipping my mind, the name of the other freelance place that we've used? It used to be called Elance, but it's not called that anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like, y'all, it's the menopause brain. Like the old lady brain is coming in, where I'm like, what? I don't remember. What's the name of
Upwork?
the website?
Upwork?
Upwork. Yes, Upwork.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah, Upwork is a place where you can find people that can work with you either on limited time projects or on an ongoing basis. And yeah, our teams, we've also had people just referred to us. And so like, that's a good part of, being in a community where, different people in the business, that you can get referrals like that.
Yeah,
Um,
when it comes to VAs, we've had amazing experiences and we've had frustrating experiences. So it's just like anything in life. Some things are going to be great and awesome, some things are not. and we can learn from those experiences and move on, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, that we've had some VAs that have stayed with us for years and other VAs that we quickly learned was like, no, you are not what you held yourself out to be when we were first talking, and no, thank you,
Yep.
we'll be moving on. And so, yeah, you just have all sorts of protections put in place. You use things like LastPass so that you're able to keep all your logins secure when they're working with you on stuff like that. You were asking about hourly rate. So like when we have used VAs here in the US before too. We've had people, and that was more, we didn't do so much of an hourly rate on that. It was more, like with any type of freelancer that you're working with, that was more like we had a flat rate for a project type situation. But for our VAs that we work with in the Philippines, I'm trying to think as well. Some of those, it's also a flat rate. It's like they do a certain amount of work per week, a certain amount of leads that they're producing for us to source. And so we pay them a flat rate for that. But I would say like hourly, depending on what they're doing, like anything less than $5 would probably not be great. Like $5 would be like the minimum, and then kind of go from there. So, and then,
An
of course,
hour.
yes, an hour. So obviously that's a lot less than what you would pay somebody with a skilled VA in the US. So, how soon typically, if you're working hard to scale, do you need a VA? Again, it depends on what you're having them do. There are things that you can immediately hire out. There are some things I don't recommend hiring immediately because you need to understand it yourself before you have somebody else doing it, because you need to make sure that you know that they're doing it the correct way. So like the back end activities of like managing your account and doing certain things with reimbursements and reconciling shipments and all of that, like you want to know how to do that. But like that is something that you really could, within, I would say, a month or two of getting solid shipments going, that's something that you could easily outsource to a VA or sorry, Peter's frustrated that this webinar is going longer than he wanted. Okay, it's going to be a little bit longer, and then I'll come get your lunch in just a minute. Okay, where was I? So, and then like with sourcing leads, like you can hire a VA to do that for you on a full-time basis later on, and you can start out doing like a subscription list early on, and that'll give you access to a VA where you're not having to pay them, because a VA is like anybody else. They're going to want to make a full-time income. They're not going to want necessarily to just do part-time work. So if you can't hire somebody full-time, they might not be willing to work for you. Especially if you're wanting them to only give you certain leads and not share those with somebody else. And so hiring a subscription service to do that kind of thing is a way to have a VA from the very beginning without having to hire a VA yourself. And like with our subscription, the OA Success Leads, we have it set up where we have a Twist channel. Twist is kind of like Slack or something else, like just a messaging working channel type thing where we've got everybody that's on the spreadsheet is in Twist, on the Twist channel. And so you can talk directly to the VA if you have a question, and doesn't even have to go through us. So yeah, it just depends on, I would say though, like the more you can outsource from the very beginning, the better. And it doesn't have to be a VA. It could be outsourcing through, using a repricer or using some sort of account management service to handle the back end type activities. Would you agree with that, Stephen?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you use QuickBooks for your business? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, our VA. I mean, our CPA uses
Yeah.
QuickBooks, and so yes. So we have QuickBooks. I'm never really in it very much, just to kind of glance every now and then. But yeah, our CPA uses QuickBooks.
Yeah, we're not in there doing all the entries ourselves or anything like that.
Yep.
They're doing it for us, but yes, they are using that. Okay, so any last questions? I think we've answered all of the ones that have come in the Q&A. I don't know if that brought up any new questions or if you have any last questions for this session. It could be related to what we're talking about, or it could be anything FBA related, coaching related, anything like that. Now is your time to ask them, as
Yeah,
Stephen.
and while you're typing, what?
I said, as Stephen is giving us his last words.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So as you're typing out your your final questions in the chat or in the questions tab, I want to remind you that tomorrow is going to be our final day. We're going to have an ask me anything or ask us anything, where we're going to hang out with you for the same amount of time, an hour, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and your last opportunity to ask whatever questions you have about selling on Amazon, about finding inventory, about repricing, about replens, about our coaching program, about how we can help you make a full-time income selling on Amazon. Whatever questions you have, come back tomorrow, ask the questions. If you're not able to make it, you can email me. Go to fulltimefba.com/contact. Email me your questions so that we can try to answer as many of them as possible. And reminder, midnight tomorrow night, midnight Tuesday night, Central Time, is when the special workshop bonuses are going to be disappearing. A 30-minute call, one-on-one call with just me and you, as well as the pay in full bonus of, if you pay in full for coaching, you get some amazing FBA supplies that you're going to have to buy in anyway. We're going to send them your way as a special bonus for getting started with us. So fulltimefba.com/coaching. We're ready to help you make a full-time income selling on Amazon. So all we need is for you to sign up and we can get the ball rolling.
I am just putting the coaching link one more time in the chat. If there's anybody there that's wanting to just click on it and go over and look at that page. But otherwise, I think we're finished with the questions for today. We had a lot of good questions about outsourcing and accounting and whatnot. So we're glad that y'all had those questions. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. We're just really glad that all of you are here today live, and we're glad for all of you who will be on the replay as well. I know that not everybody has the schedule. We try to switch up when we do the workshop, just like we do with the coaching. So the coaching is every other week on Tuesdays, but it is one week it's going to be in the morning, like at this hour, and then 2 weeks after that it'll be in the evening, because people have different schedules. So we did the same thing with the workshops. This time the workshop's in the mornings, next time the workshop will be in the evenings.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Olga.
Yeah, we're reading through the chat of many of you who are expressing your thanks to us. And we're thankful that you've joined us as well. It's been fun hanging out with you. And I'm looking forward to our one more session tomorrow. If you are also, last chance to catch up on any of the replays, if you haven't watched them, fulltimefba.com/replay, so that you can catch up on any of our previous workshop sessions, including today's. In about an hour, we'll have that uploaded to the replay link. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. God bless. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.